Ladies and gentle hands, welcome back to the hardcore world, and today I am fixing up my little mistakes from last time. Now if I can just place these little guys freaking correctly, there we go. Lots of you guys left comments saying that I accidentally had these guys on the wrong orientation, and I forgot a few trapdoors. I saw all your comments, a lot of you pointed it out. I'm sorry about that, but it's all fixed now. And our temple is all nice and pretty. But yes, we will be working in the White Bridge area again today, and I am very excited to share what I have in store for you guys because I have been absolutely cooking in this area. So today we're going to be working in the lower city here, and we're going to be renovating pretty much this whole village, and we're going to be tearing out a lot of these back buildings here, do a lot of terraforming and general just expansions for the lower kind of square area we have here. These houses, I made them a long time ago, and they're pretty, and they're not bad. They kind of match the whole theme of White Bridge, but they're very small, and I feel like they're kind of out of place, kind of randomly dotted around the area here. So I am going to go through, and we're going to make some new plans. I feel like from the rooftops up here, I can explain a little bit better from a nice little aerial view. Oh, yes. So these 4 buildings are going to be gone, eliminated. And I want to work on some new streets as well, kind of going through the area here. So we have this one alley right here, and this is kind of the idea I have in mind. I want very crowded streets. Maybe we should hop down here. Crowded streets with some little market stalls, lots of little lights and little tarps hanging over all over the place. Lots of little details, and I want to also include details of the villagers that will be stored inside of the buildings and like what they will be selling, and kind of have market stalls on the outside representing that. So it's kind of like at a glance you can tell, oh yeah, all the blacksmiths or all the terracotta guys are inside here, all the masons. So from over here we'll have another little alley street. We're gonna build some new buildings right around this pillar here, and then we're gonna expand out the street going out this way, and we're gonna have a nice little kind of corridor, nice little street with some buildings on all of the sides here. And then eventually we'll have another street going out to the right here, and then right here in the middle we're gonna work on a big grand library. Okay, working on a big library all in one episode plus all of these other expansion plans, not feasible. So we're gonna save the library for its own dedicated episode, and I'm very excited to show that to you guys when it is ready. But it is going to take a lot of time, a lot of cooking. I will be live streaming my building process of that. So if you're interested, check out to see if I'm live on YouTube, or join the Discord, discord.gg/barce, and sign up for the live stream notifications, and you'll be notified whenever I go live. All right, so like I said earlier, the first thing we got to do is get rid of these buildings. So with a little bit of a spin, these buildings are gone, and now we are all cleaned up and we're ready to begin working a little bit of terraforming. So our first plan of action is to tear back this mountain that I'm standing on right behind me here. This whole mountain needs to be pushed back, and we need to flatten out the ground a little bit more because we're going to extend out the bricks that are right here. As you can see, we're going to repeat this pattern a little bit further and a little bit wider out because I want to make this spot right around here our new central kind of town square area for White Bridge. I think this spot will work a lot nicer than we currently previously had right over here, right where that torch is. That originally was going to be our town center, but I think over here it will work a lot better because there'll be a lot more buildings, and it'll kind of feel like you're just surrounded by infrastructure when you are in this central area here. We also need to flatten out a bunch of terrain on this side here and get rid of all of these pine trees and all of these oak trees and all this shenanigans up here. This mountain is very ugly, and it's going to take us some time to tear this all back. But let's cue the time lapse and let's get digging. Hello there. I thought I'd just quickly pop in real quick and say, if you're enjoying the video so far or even excited for this video, please consider leaving a little bit of a like on the video. I very much would appreciate that. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing because I've been uploading weekly for about a year and a half, and I am on the grind for 50k subs by the end of the year. So I'd very much appreciate it if you would help me reach my goal. Now, a lot of you guys in the last video said that you were very excited for the White Bridge renovations, and I myself am too because it has been so long since I've touched this area. And ever since the last time I did, I wasn't very happy with the progress that I made or nearly like the style and the direction I went with. So this nice little taking a step back and then coming back to a build and then kind of doing a new take on it is always really satisfying when you feel like you actually hit your stride on it. And speaking from the future here, I can say that the direction we go in for White Bridge is very awesome. So stay tuned to the end of the video and see how freaking awesome our build is going to look. All right, guys, it's been a full day's worth of grinding and terraforming, but our area here is complete. Let me just get rid of this beacon really quickly. Sheesh, I always feel like that takes freaking forever. All right, but yes, here is all of the terraforming done. This was so much more than I anticipated to be digging out today. But we have a nice flat area now to work with. I've even expanded out a lot of the roads. So now we have our big kind of courtyard area over here. And I'm really liking kind of just the size of this area. And also you can see I laid out the foundation for maybe a little bit of a fountain right here. It could be cool to like have a little bit of a statue or something, but I'm not very good with designing statues. So I'm just going to leave it as a waterfall for now. Maybe one day when I get good at statues, we can put a proper statue there of some sort. But over here we have a path leading up towards this way, and then over there we also have a path going that way. I think we'll work on buildings, you know, on this kind of facade another time. I want to work on this street mostly because I think we could fill this one up very neatly, and we can get a better idea of like kind of the vibe that we want to establish for the White Bridge area. You can see I also tore out the old paths here leading into the village, and I think these ones work so much better. I like the kind of, you know, the occasional darkness of it, but also a lot of the lighter spots, kind of with the andesite and the stone, a little bit of the stone brick and cobblestone, kind of the transition into the tough block here. And of course, we got to surround it all with the mossy cobblestone that kind of blend into the occasional little grassy patch, trying to keep it all lit up too. You can see I added in some carpets on the big bricks here. So now no bad guys can spawn and harass me while I'm trying to build, at least in the main square area here. This is all unlit right now. But as you can see from the path shape that we kind of have ideas already for buildings. So we're going to put a building right here, another one right next to it. And then on this little corner here is going to be an interesting one because I want to have a building come out to right about here where these tough blocks are. And this is going to be kind of a similar alley kind of vibe as to this one over here on the left side. Maybe not as cramped, maybe a little bit, tiny bit less cramped. But I'll be coming through right here, and then we'll have the path going this way. We'll have another building kind of butt up against that one, kind of similar to what we do like over here and like all these buildings, how they're all kind of like nearly stacked on top of each other. I'm still kind of going for that look, but I think I want to have them having their own individual kind of roof lines and everything a little bit more. So we'll also do a building over here in this little spot. Maybe a second one can go down right here kind of on this ledge. And then we'll probably have a building kind of come out to here and maybe a little bit of a one sticking out over here on this side. So I think we're going to be building about 5 buildings or so. We'll see. And of course, we got to stick with our colorful roofs, but I think we'll maybe not go as crazy as these ones. We'll see how I'm feeling when it starts to come into the roof design on this. As the sun rises over the valley, I think it's time for us to begin working on this area. I am so excited to show you guys what I have been cooking up. And there'll be a lot of little detailing too that we should do together. So we're going to work on the main shells of the building. Then we're going to come through and kind of, you know, start detailing some areas, give them a little bit more purpose, and we'll kind of get a better idea of where we're going to start putting all of our fancy villagers. So anyways, as always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the montage. Alright guys, all of the buildings are complete and they look so beautiful. I'm really happy with how this turned out. This is definitely a better vision of White Bridge than it was before. Big transformations have been done since the beginning of this episode. It's kind of crazy if you think about it, but we have these beautiful buildings here. A lot of uniquely shaped ones too. We're going with some more angled stuff too. Like down here, I wanted to have some fun with some angled buildings just because it's just more interesting to look at, and also adds a lot more dynamic to the road instead of having them all be very squared off and perfectly like perpendicular, you know, with the grid of the Minecraft world, which is what we did all down here, which I think it's totally fine. But having the angles and like the slanted buildings, everything, is just more interesting to look at, and definitely could do a lot more with detailing and all that fun stuff. But yeah, just overall, we have a lot more uniquely shaped buildings. Like this guy right here is pretty skinny, and we have one kind of over protruding tower with this little side panel here, and then another side panel. It's all kind of crazy on this guy with a really, really tall roof, and then this little like jut out building on the side here. Oh, I think I want to add in some jungle signs right here, kind of connect that up real quick. Oh yeah, okay, that makes it look a lot nicer. Then we have this weird looking boot building right here. It looks like Italy with the with the boot shape. I think we'll just kind of cover up this weird kind of plane looking angle, and kind of, it's just very awkward looking right here. So I think we can cover this up with a few trees, and I think that'll make it look a lot nicer, and also kind of just transition in all these pine trees into the area here. I also added in a little bit more foliage and these cool looking lamps because we were kind of struggling on mob spawning around here. There was some bad guys spawning on me pretty much throughout the whole time I was building. So I added in these lamps, and I think these will fit in really well, especially once these lightning rods will oxidize into the like weathered form, because copper is kind of our accent color we have throughout Whitebridge, and I think these would look really sick. And maybe even we could like replace the lantern with the copper ones. Of course, once all that stuff comes out, I'm very much planning for all the copper update, the copper drop, if you will, coming in the next few months. All right, but let's get some detailing done together, because I think detailing will elevate this place so much more. You can already see, like, you know, what we did with these buildings over here. I want this to house all of our loom villagers. I think they're carpenters. Whatever villagers use the loom as their workstation, this is where I want them to be. So on the inside of this building, we'll set up some stalls, and we probably won't need too many of them, but we'll kind of take up as much space as we need to. We can tear out some of this pillar in here and everything, and house a bunch of villagers in there. And then we can even go all the way up to like the top floor there. I think this building right here with the darker roof, I think it kind of screams blacksmith to me. So I think in this little building, we can have some blacksmith villagers. All of these guys on the inside can finally be released and made into our masons and toolsmiths and all that fun stuff. And then on the outside of these buildings where this alley is, I think it'd be really neat to kind of set up some tarps and some like awnings, kind of hanging over the edge and selling the product that these guys would be creating. All right, yes, let's get started on some detailing. I think the first thing I want to do is add in some like wooden carts kind of around the area, and maybe bring in a few horses that we can lead up to them, just to add a little bit more movement and a little bit more life into this area. So first, let's make a cart. I think right here is a really good spot. All right, so I think a little wooden cart we can do like this with the button, and then maybe another button around that side. And then let's do spruce as our border on this. And I think we should do hay bales. This guy sells hay, or maybe just bring in hay into the frickin' Whitebridge area, yes. And then I think I brought a sandstone wall, a singular one. Where is it at? Boop. Oh, you know what would be cool if we did a wheat seed, and then we had like a piece of dirt back here? Hold on, let me grab a piece of dirt. This one. No, there's stone underneath, dang it. I mined so much dirt and I can't even get one piece. There we go. Okay, but just for the extra height, we should get rid of this log. Sorry, log, I just placed you down. But we will do a little a little hoe, and then we'll plant that. And then hopefully when it grows up, it will look like a little bit of extra wheat sticking out the top for a little bit of extra height variation. Oh, yes. Then we just get some signs along the side there. Let me grab 3 more. One little extra detail there for some height variation. So hopefully that little wheat will grow up into a tall, strong wheat. I have a resource pack that kind of adds some height variation to the wheat. So I think that will make that look really neat. Let's do one more cart, maybe over here. I'm going to use oak trapdoors as our little wheels on this. I feel like that's pretty classy. And maybe this merchant is bringing in some like wood supplies. I'm thinking wood could be pretty cool. Do I have any? Oh, I have like a chest in here. Okay, the chest is cool. Do I have any like barrels? I feel like barrels would work really well on this. Then we can just surround all this with our signs. And I think that is a pretty solid design for a little wood cart. Oh, campfire on top for sure. Give me a campfire. All right, and there's our cart. Very, very cute. Now let's go grab some horses real quick from our horse stable. And let's hook them up to those little fences I set right there. Just so, you know, we can have somewhere to lead them. And I think that'll add a little bit more character to this area. All right, I'm going to grab a green and a blue horse armor. Now let's snag this white stallion we have here. And maybe a mule. And I think these two guys will be our... Oh, wait, no, I can't put armor on you. But a mule is pretty accurate for, like, what they would be doing. Yeah, screw it. Let's go. Come on, boys. Can you guys jump over the fence? 1, 2. Nice. Oh, my God. I'm, like, dragging them. Come on. Lean forward at least. There you go. Oh, no. All right, perfect. Let's do the white horse on this guy right here. Oh, wait. That's both of his. All right, white horse, boom, you go right there, and I give you the blue armor or the green armor? Oh, the green armor, for show. Boop, there you go, buddy. There's your new home forever. All right, let's get some more detailing done. I think a tarp right here for the blacksmiths would look really cool, and I'm kind of thinking, you know, some anvils and some grindstones and some forgery stuff. Of course, it's like a smithing table, like maybe a few ores or two could look pretty cool as well. Let's grab... All right, I got a full inventory full of junk here, but let's get started on this tarp. I think a nice and easy, you know, setting up the posts first will really help us here. I think almost I want it to be like kind of angled in this way. So maybe even over here, we don't necessarily have a post, but rather a little wall attachment here. And if I use little item swapper mod to make my life a little bit easier on swapping between these items, I think that looks pretty good. Something like that. Kind of creates that nice like little post effect, you know, stretching out from the wall. It's fine. It'll work out. I always struggle making awnings, but I think I got this one locked in. I think if we do some darker shades towards the back, and then as we come forward, we go towards more of these lighter shades, like the red nether brick, maybe even mangrove, and like pale oak slab and this diorite. I think we can create a nice awning effect, or sorry, like a shading effect, and then we can create the awning, just trying our darndest to create some cool shapes here. Oh, now that feels a lot more like it's coming off the wall. I like that lever. Little details. Okay, I want a little bit more like grunge and some more like just kind of messiness to this area. So I think a chain there, then maybe even like a chain somewhere over here. Or what if we chain right here into the grindstone, and then the grindstone into maybe like a deep slate tile, because I'm thinking the smithing table can go right there with the anvil to the right. Yes. I have a deep slate tile. And then boop, just like that. We gotta add a little bit of lighting in, so let's do a candle right there. And then we should start throwing in some ores. I'm thinking an ore spot could go right here. And then we could do like a little iron bar to represent an ore. Maybe even like a pale oak button. A pale oak button for like an iron ingot or something like that. To have a button. Boop. That kind of looks like an iron ingot. Some creativity required. And a little gold spot right here too. Maybe we even try to get a gold ingot with like a bamboo button. I just had a bamboo button. I saw that. Boop. And then I got some item frames here. What if we, behind here, we throw in some tools of each variety? Maybe we make a gold like pickaxe, an iron pickaxe, and an axe. Maybe even an iron sword. And maybe a gold axe as well. Let's see what we can craft up here with our limited amount of sticks. Okay, axe, pickaxe, sword, axe, pickaxe. Oh, that looks pretty sick. And one more little detail, I think it would be kind of cool to add a little bit more motion to this area. So underneath this guy, we're going to place a campfire. And we place it back on top. Some smoke will escape through, and it'll kind of look like maybe the furnace is on. It's kind of smelting something right now. Ooh, nice little effect. Okay, now on this right side, we should make another little tarp. And maybe this guy is selling... Okay, if someone were selling, like, banners and wool, carpet, rugs. Oh, this guy could be like a rug. Oh, yes. Okay. Brain blast. Okay, I kind of went silent when I started building this part in the video, but just a little post commentary. I wanted the really bright and colorful little, awning and section right here. So a lot of rolled up carpets on the walls I thought were a great little accent piece. And just trying to get as many freaking crazy colors as I could to kind of represent all the different types of rugs you could find in like a rug store or something. And just having some fun with messing with the bright and colorful blocks. Oh, would you look at that detailing behind me? It looks so freaking good. I love how crowded this feels right now. Oh yes, walking through the alley, people trying to sell you carpets over here, people trying to sell you some new tools on the right. Oh, it's so good. Now, I actually got this carpet idea from Germsy Boy. He has one of these little buildings in his world, and I remember seeing it a long time ago, and I was always like, that'd be a really cool idea, and then it kind of just popped in my head of like, oh, I should do that. It's finally my time to try it out. So here's my attempt at it. And I made some really cool carpet designs, some rugs. Like, look at this guy. Has some waterlogged slabs right there. Kind of some gold embroidery coming through and some lichen layers. And then just having a bunch of glaze. I feel like the glaze looks really good, especially if you're trying to replicate some sort of rug design. Then we have our classic design over here. I actually have this rug design somewhere in one of the English countryside buildings way over yonder. Then we have a little like desk right here where maybe the transactions are being done. A little rolled up carpet here or there. And then a nice little decorated pot here. I've been wanting to do some decorated pots for a while. I have so many sherds, and this is my first one I think I've placed. All right, we have one more detail we need to work on, and it's going to be right here in the courtyard. Of course, we need to work on the water fountain, the little statue here. And I was actually thinking, when I was designing a lot of this stuff, especially like the lampposts here, I talked about it earlier, get the new copper rods. We're also going to get copper golems, and maybe we could use some copper golems in this little fountain here to kind of represent little mini statues, maybe even like gargoyles to a sense. But I think a nice little copper fountain here, and then eventually the copper golems could be kind of little accent points on the fountain, could look really freaking cool. Let's get designing on a nice little fountain design here. So I'm gonna make a nice little ring shape here, nothing too crazy, just going with some nice kind of rounded style here with the stairs, kind of making a nice rounded shape. And then in the middle here, we're gonna place, let's do a weathered copper bulb. Can we turn it on? I guess this will do. And actually with these warp buttons, maybe we could go around the edges here, kind of add little tiny little accents, just to make this have a little bit more depth to it. So maybe like these could be nice. Okay. Oh my God, my shulker boxes are so messy because I've just been going in and out, and I don't really care where I'm putting stuff. Oh man, it pays to be organized, doesn't it? No. Okay, but right on top here, we're going to do some levers. We're going to point them down. These will be kind of like little spouts of water coming down. I wish I could do like the prismarine walls right here. Blend a little bit better with the copper. But then the glass will connect, and I don't like that. So we can just do something like this. Place some water there. And then we could do some blue glass along the sides. And at the very top here, we have a nice little like kind of spout going, spraying water out and down the fountain here. I'm thinking just like nice and splashy. Okay, and I think these candles will sell the effect a little bit better of the splash. Do I have any white ones? Oh, I do. I have them in my inventory. I think we can get a little bit more vertical if we do this. And then underneath we place the two candles like that. Well, I think this is going to look pretty decent. Oh, that looks like a nice little splashing waterfall. And maybe it's a little too messy. I'm not sure. We'll mess with it more maybe when the copper golem, not tough golem, when those guys get added to the game. But let's fill this up with some water, and I think we're done with that. All right, very nice. Cute little waterfall. I think we actually could make it a little bit spicier. We could do some of these and get some warped trapdoors, kind of create some fake lily pads. One right here, maybe one right there, and one right there. Oh, I love how the cactus flower looks in this. It looks so freaking sick. Do we have any real lily pads? I think I remember grabbing as many as I could, which is 2. And just like that, we have a pretty little waterfall with actually a nice little color pop too. I really like our theme in this village of it being like very white and monotone with really heavy accents everywhere. Just little details of color. And I think it just brings so much more contrast and like just life to this area. Also, we have iron golems wandering around now. I don't know what changed, but welcome, boys. Our Lord and saviors of this village, our protectors. But anyways, y'all, I think that's all the time I got today for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, I really do appreciate it. Of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure to get subscribed. And if you want to join the fancy list of members on the left side of your screen, consider joining as a member. World Download is coming very soon in about 2 more episodes, and I'm very excited to share some new news with you guys regarding the World Download and membership. So anyways, stay tuned, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!